The Marinemaster is finally back.
I thought it was back already.
Yeah, but nobody really liked that one.
Why?
I don't know, it was 200 meters instead of 3.
You watched Dweebs Are Impossible to Please.
Yeah, you're kind of right. But I think this one will finally make you guys happy. Actually, probably not. And we're gonna get into why right now. Introducing the all-new Seiko Marinemaster. The Marinemaster is arguably Seiko's definitive diver. This thing exudes Seiko DNA and personality. You can spot it from a mile away, that's a Seiko. This new 300 series is heavily inspired by the SBDX001, a watch respected by everyone, even non-Seiko fans. Seiko gave it an update in 2015 and discontinued it in 2017. But in late December 23, early January 2024, they brought the Marinemaster name back. And when they used the 62 MAS chassis, I knew you guys were going to be mad. But I did mention in that review last year that I'm sure they will be making a 300 series line shortly. And while Seiko did answer the call, they took away the fan favorite trademark feature, that monoblock case. And that means the MM300 is no longer a saturation diver. It is now just a simple air diver, which is a shame. But on the bright side, Seiko has made a notable upgrade, which is the crown. So just like the SLA055 we saw back in 2022, the crown tube is now replaceable. Why is that important? Well, instead of the crown tube being pressed into that case, it is now screwed in just like the Rolex Submariner. This upgrade significantly improves the watch's longevity, making it a generational timepiece. Okay, so now let's take a closer look at that case. The watch truly looks like $1,000,000. It's got laser-sharp, jewel-like chiseling combined with stunning Zaratsu polished mirror finish. This combination is finished off with a touch of brushing on the mid-case and on top of the lugs. Okay, so here's an interesting detail. Usually Seiko's super hard coating darkens the metal. But on this one, I'm just not seeing that here. And I think that's because this one has a brand new Dia Shield formula. But take note, I have not confirmed that yet. It's just a hunch. Okay, moving on to the dimensions. I got 42.6 millimeters in diameter, the bezel 41.6, and a secret measurement of 30.5. For the thickness, I got 13.4. Now that is thicker by 0.3 over the SLA055. This is probably because the Marinemaster has an extra 100 meters of water resistance. And we do have drilled lugs for easy strap changes and a lug-to-lug of 49.3. And speaking of strap changes, this video has been brought to you by Tropic Straps. And yes, I'm talking about the original brand. The Tropics are made in Italy and they smell like sugary vanilla. And you know, on most Tropic straps, the keepers, they kind of bug you with the ridges. You don't get that with the originals. They're just so soft and pliable. If you own a Seiko diver, I highly recommend them. Okay, now back to the review. One thing I can say about these Marinemasters is they sit perfectly on the wrist. No case back float, and they hug it perfectly. As for the visual, I think it wears a little bit smaller than its size indicates, especially on a Tropic. So just a touch smaller than its size. But you guys be the judge on the faraway shots throughout this video. Now, Marinemasters are known for their incredible lume, and this new model does pretty good. Definitely stronger than the SPB mid-tier divers, but is it stronger than the old Marinemasters? I'm not sure. I should have borrowed an older one to do a comparison. And I'm disappointed the bezel isn't loomed. The old Marinemaster had the 12 to 20 loomed, and I like that. And speaking of the bezel, this one is a stainless steel insert coated with black titanium carbon. The bezel teeth have sharp, coarse knurling reminiscent of the LX series, which I think adds to the rugged charm. But the big question is, how does it feel and how does it sound? The bezel has a lot of grip and it glides smoothly. The clicks are soft and typical Seiko. If you're a fan of Seiko bezels, you're going to like this one. So I've mentioned the SLA055 a few times already, and that's because they are very similar. The 055 had those distinctive grooved cardinal indices, while this new Marinemaster just has simple pressed high polish hour markers. Seiko, however, nailed that matte black granular dial. Its matte effect makes the hour markers pop and aids in at-a-glance legibility. Now the handset, some of you are going to say is a downgrade because it looks like an SPB line handset, not an SLA handset. The SLA055 had the flat brush tops with bevel edges. Here, the hands have half brushed, half high polished, just like we've seen before on the more affordable Seiko divers. But the finishing seems to be a little bit better than the SPB line. And I'll mention the seconds hand, it is no longer capped like the 055. We got a date window at 4:30, which I know not many people like, but at least it blends in pretty good with the black on black here. Okay, so what is powering the new MM300? Well, it's your favorite, the 8L35. Based off a Grand Seiko movement and hand assembled in the Grand Seiko studio. It's got rhodium plating, so when you service it and it gets wet as it's being cleaned, it's more corrosion resistant. It's got 26 joules and a smooth 28.8 VPH. The power reserve is 50 hours, which I think is plenty. And as you can see here, the Grand Seiko watchmakers put this one together with love. Positional variance is always amazing on the 8Ls, and the Escapement does use MEMS technology for greater precision. So now that you're in love with this watch, you're asking, Falling Titan, what's the price? Well, you're going to be happy. These things are going for $2,900 USD. That's a pretty good price. The SLA023, the old Marinemaster, was $3,100. And let's not forget about the SLA055, which I mentioned 100 times already. That was $4,600 USD. Why was it so much? Well, it was limited, and even though it only has 200 meters of water resistance instead of 3, it's made from ever brilliant steel, a material that is so corrosion resistant, they use it under the sea in structures for bridges. Okay, so it crushes Rolex's 904L steel. Personally, I would have loved to see a thinner monoblock MM300, but I'm not sure they can do that with the 8L. It's kind of a thick movement. If I was in charge, I would have made a monoblock MM300 under 12 millimeters, maybe 11.8. And to do that, I would have used the 6L movement with some upgrades, SI hairspring, and MEMS technology. But those are just my thoughts. Let me hear yours down below in the comments section. And while you're down there, please remember to hit that like button. I appreciate you, and I'll see you in the next one.